So I just thought I would do some more reactions to the I Regret Having Children Facebook page, because my first video I made got very popular, so I take that as a sign that people like these kind of videos. So I want to make more of them. So I'm just going to jump right into it with the very first story. The story says, "It's 7 AM and I just can't stand it. I wish I had known that every day would start with cortisol surging through my body before the sun rises. My nerves drop before breakfast time. The best part of my day is when my kids go to school. The instant relief I feel when I relinquish my direct supervisory responsibilities for 6.5 hours. The rest of the day I'm in a heightened state of stress though. It doesn't matter if they're with me or not. My youngest is 5 and I can't wait until they're independent or just a little less needy. My older child will always need support because they have a disability, but that doesn't bother me the way my younger one needs though. I don't know why that is, but what I do know is I'm locked in the bathroom trying to recoup so I don't start yelling while my 5-year-old does the exact opposite of what I've asked them to do on the other side of the door. This life is relentless and I'm so bleep exhausted." So there was a swear word, and so I had to bleep it out. So what I really like about this site is that people get to just vent about their feelings. And one of the hardest jobs I still believe in the world is kids and having kids. And it is really hard because you have to be on 24/7, especially if you have like a younger child. I think with an older child you have to be on just in a whole nother way. With a younger child, as she described it, they're very needy, they need her a lot, so she has to be on constantly. And I really think that having those hours where I do not have the kids home, it's just really important to just relax. But I think a lot of people have to use that time either at work or at home, just trying to get the home to look nice, just to, you know, get the adult chores done. I have my things to fight with, so what I have a really hard time with is the chores you have to do, cleaning and so on. It's not that I do not get the things done, but just it takes a lot from me to get all those things done. So just having a normal life with all the things you have to do as an adult is kind of relentless. But putting kids on top of that, I really get why she's venting, and I think it's so sad that she has to lock herself in the bathroom just to get a break. And in these kind of scenarios, I'm kind of wondering where the father is, because having the responsibility for 2 kids, just being one person, that must really be hard. And I really hope that she has a partner in the background who can help her, so she isn't as alone and she's able to take some free time for herself. But the next one says, "Hi, I have to share thank you for providing the service. I have one daughter under the age of 1 and I grieve my old life constantly. I am full of rage. I get flooded with anger whenever she cries or refuses to sleep. I get triggered so badly when others talk about wanting more kids. How are they doing okay in this situation? Enough to think about adding more. And even more upset by the way people always attribute all negative feelings to P and D. Can't it be true that losing your freedom, your ability to look after yourself and do things that you enjoy, your time with your partner and your ability to focus on your career is just upsetting? I feel even more guilty because I know I have a better situation than most. Good parental benefits, an amazing husband who is currently home with the baby and who gets up in the night with her, etc. But I just feel pulled in multiple directions all the time, between home and work, and I'm just so tired of feeling exhausted. I have been waiting to fast forward from the start, imagining a child who can go with us to fun activities and holidays, have a conversation, enjoy a movie or book. But now I'm scared that it's also just a fantasy like motherhood. And birth was before I had my baby. Is it all just one big con. There are good moments with my baby every day. I love when she smiles at me, when she rests her head on my chest, when I'm able to comfort her, although conversely, it makes me so angry when I can't comfort her. And when I see her learn something new or get absorbed with something. The problem is, I don't feel that this makes up for the negatives, the pain, the emotional turmoil. I think I'm too sensitive and too selfish for motherhood. I always had a high need for my own space and time, issues with anxiety, and a need for self-care easy, and I should have realized that I couldn't stay mentally healthy, but I didn't realize. Now I am paying for it. I decided that at very least I will now stop at just one and refuse to get pressured into more. But that is hard when everyone around you, including yourself, thinks of multiple as the norm. So I think I will never be free of these regrets entirely, and I just have to learn to live with it. When I read a story like this, I do not think it's entirely her fault, because society, as he says, puts up norms, and we just think that we have to follow those norms, and sometimes we forget to reflect about these things and how it's norms and it's not something you are supposed to do, even though it feels like it. You have a choice, and it can be very hard to realize sometimes. And she sounds like one of those people who hadn't realized that she had a choice until after she had a kid. And I'm really glad that she's realizing now that she has a choice and that she just does not want more kids because one is enough for her. And I just hope that she does not fall into what society expects of her, and she listens to what she herself wants to do. So that's a really great thing that this person has realized, and I'm really happy that she actually has a husband that contributes, because the whole thing about a dad even lifting a finger and then he's a great dad, I don't think that's right, because two parties have gotten a kid and they both need to contribute. So I just think that should be the standard, that the dad does just as much as the mom. You know, the person who stays at home with the kids is always going to be the one that does the most in those kind of scenarios. But I just think all around, the father should really help. When a father comes home, if the mother is the one who looks after the kid, he should also help with the kids when he comes home, because otherwise the mom will be doing the job of raising the kids almost all by herself. And that is not fair, because they have both made those kids. Next one says, I hope I won't get judged for writing this, but I don't have anyone else to talk to about this. I feel so guilty. My husband and I, we have a 1.5-year-old son, and are currently expecting a second one next year. I want this one to be my last, and my husband doesn't. The main reason I was okay with another was because I don't want our son being an only child, and I'm married. If I don't give my husband the family he wants, he'll cheat on me again. I always thought I wanted to be a mother after I graduated university. It's just what you do, right? My husband and I met almost 5 years ago, and we were both on the same page about kids. We wanted lots of them, and to have the big, beautiful, happy family. I wish I still had the optimism in my life. Well, we only have one, and so far I don't feel particularly happy or fulfilled about it most of the time. I don't want lots of kids anymore. I want no more after the second one. I'm burnt out with only one. I had severe postpartum anxiety that went untreated when he was a newborn, and I fear it will happen again with this one. Most days I just find myself missing our pre-kid life, and I want to just hide in our room and sleep, or have time away from the whining, crying, tantrums, chasing after him, making sure he doesn't hurt himself, and constantly wondering what he wants because he doesn't talk or say words at all yet. I work full-time night shifts, and my husband is the stay-at-home dad. I miss my free time. I miss the time with my husband, just us two, doing whatever we wanted. Whenever we wanted, I miss my body before a kid. I miss being able to plan trips and mini vacations. I miss sleeping in. I miss myself most of all. My identity is just mom now. I've become a miserable person, and I'm definitely depressed between the trauma of being cheated on a few years ago and dealing with the struggles of being a full-time working mom who just can't get a break. I have no family here. They all live in another state. I have no real friends. I've expressed how I felt to my husband and he doesn't seem to care. Tells me I'm too negative all the time and I need to see the positive of life. I stay up late on my nights off after our son goes to bed to save it a few hours of time to myself to relax and do what I want before I get up in the morning. And the same routines begins again. I love our son more than anything in this world, and it scares me because if I could go back and redo my choices, I would not have kids. I do everything in my power to make sure our son is fed, happy, healthy, and feels loved. I will never make him feel neglected or unloved. I just wish my life ended up differently, and I know these are the choices I made and have to live with them. I'm crying writing this because I feel like a horrible mother and that our son deserves better than me. If anyone is on the fence about kids, trust me and just don't do it. Life is so much more than settling down and having kids, especially for women. Thank you for reading. So I love the last bit she put in where she says, life is so much more than settling down and having kids, especially for women. And I really love this because I think, especially for women, there is this societal belief that you should have kids and you should be married. And if you do not do this, you're not a real woman. And this is just not true. So I love how she put this in. And the thought I had in my head while I read this was, she has an extremely toxic partner. So he won't listen to her. He has cheated on her. And he says that she's too negative. And as far as I could read, she just had postpartum depression. I don't know if she's still suffering from this, and some anxiety involved also. So having a partner saying that you're too negative and not listening to you and putting you down, I just get so mad when I read stuff like this or hear stuff like this, because this isn't a good partner. Good partner doesn't cheat on you. Good partner will listen to you, and a good partner won't say you're too negative just because you have some mental health problems to deal with. That's the last thing you say to someone who has a mental health issues, because if she really has mental health issues, it's not something she can just magically do something about. You can't just say to a person that they need to be more positive or less negative when they have a mental health disorder, because when you have depression, you can't just snap out of it and be positive all of a sudden. So I think that this partner is just so extremely toxic. And if you ask me, she needs to get away, because her mental health will only get worse when she's with a partner like this. It will only deteriorate, and she really needs to get away from him. So I'm just going to read some of the comments just because I'm curious about what people have to say about this, because I really hope that some other people also said she should get away from this partner because he's toxic. Yeah, one person commented, your husband is trash. And one person also commented, once a cheater, always a cheater. I get an abortion if it's not too late. So I think there's definitely some good advice here. The person also said, leave your husband. I'm glad other people also think that how this husband is not okay, and people are also writing that she should get some help for her anxiety, and probably also for postpartum depression if she's still dealing with that. The husband, yeah. One also says, cheat on me again, girl, divorce him, get a lawyer and work his shit. Major red flags right there. If you don't give your husband the family he wants, he will cheat again. Forgot to put that in and talk about that, but that is definitely really toxic. You should never have to give another person something for them to stay. Who you are and how you are with the other person should be enough for them to stay. I know relationships takes work and you have to work with yourself and compromise and all that. But when it comes just in general to a relationship, your partner has to like you for who you are, and you shouldn't have to contribute something else to be good enough for your partner. You should be good enough just the way you are. I just really hope that she gets some help and that she leaves this husband. And I also think that the advice about getting an abortion is a great idea if she's on the fence whether she wants this kid. Of course, you cannot know how long into the pregnancy she is, so maybe she can't get on board. But nonetheless, she should leave this husband and she should get some help. I think legal help, as some people said in the comments. would be a good idea, but also getting some mental help for herself would be a great idea. And maybe moving back to where her family is, if she can, of course, I don't know if she can, and getting some help from them so she isn't alone with the duty of having the kids if she leaves the husband, which I really, really hope she does, because he sounds really, really toxic. Like, you don't cheat by mistake, and if the person have cheated one time, just leave them, because they'll probably cheat again. So I'm going to read one more and then I think I'm going to end the video. One thing that I always knew to be true about myself was that I did not want children. Full stop, no expectations. I knew this. Now I know this with complete certainty. You know how society is. Women, they know nothing. We are so conditioned to think that motherhood is all that will complete us. That we shouldn't trust ourselves at any age to know that we do not want to be parents, whether we are 5 and don't understand the appeal of playing with dolls or playing family, or maybe we're 15 and talking about what we want to do as adults, what we want our lives to look like. Ask me how many students and teachers told me that I had no idea what I was talking about. Or what about when we are dating a future spouse, and we tell them what we know to be true, and they just laugh or bruise it aside until you've been married for a few years, and then the conversation comes back around and you remind them you know this is true. And the answer shocks you and shakes you to the core. But our family was the point. That's when I should have left. That was almost 20 years ago. We are still married. We have a 12-year-old. I have no idea who I am. I do not know myself at all. Only that I am living with someone else's life and I cannot escape. I regret being a mother. With every fiber of my being, nothing in my life gives me passion or even happiness. So this is another person who kind of fell into societal expectations. So what society expects of us. And I think she's right. She should have left this partner. And I think just in general in life, it's some point that we listen to ourselves before we listen to anybody else. And we do not get pressured into things that is not the right thing for us. And I'm sad to hear this, because she's right. There are so many people who just expect us to have kids, and when we say we do not want kids, they say we do not know what we're talking about. And I just think that's so rude to say to another person that you don't know what you're talking about. I could say to a person with kids, you don't know what you're talking about when it comes to not having kids, because they have kids. I just think that the whole way we talk about kids and marriage and all this is wrong, because it should not be an expectation. We really should make it more a choice in society, because you aren't forced into having kids. I'm not saying you aren't forced into having kids, but I know some people are. But a lot of people have a choice. Not all. I know that not all people have a choice, but most people have a choice when it comes to whether they want kids or not. I think it's so sad that she had reflected so much about having kids, but then she just fell into this trap about that she should have kids, and now she has a life that she hates. And I hate how people like make it the end of the world when they've had a kid, because it shouldn't be the end of the world. Because honestly, no matter how long you've been with this person, no matter how long you've had a kid, if it isn't right for you, you can leave it behind. You can leave the kid behind with the dad if you want to, because it's your life and you should not be miserable in this kind of a way. The child can have other people that can take care of it, whether that be your husband, or whether that be some family members, or whether that be that kid gets adopted. And I really hate when people say this, that they have made a certain decision and now it's too late. It's like elderly people saying that they are too old to change. You are never too old to change. You are never too old to make your life better. No matter how long you've been in a situation, you can get out of it. I just think she's looking at this all wrong. She doesn't have to be miserable. She can leave and she can get a good life for herself. But yeah guys, that was the video for now. Please show me some likes on this video if you still like me talking about the I Regret Having Children Facebook page, because if you still do enjoy these videos, I will of course happily make more. But of course I'm trying to both make videos that you like, but also videos that I like making. So it's a fine balance in between those two. But yeah guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video and that you like and that you subscribe. and then I'll see you soon in another video. Bye guys!